Positive psychology is now the fastest growing branch of psychology. And in this video, I will share with you what is positive psychology and why has it started. Positive psychology started in 1998. Back then, in 1998, just before positive psychology started, if I would ask you how many research studies were published in the last 30 years in psychological journals focusing on depression, and how many articles were published focusing on happiness, what would you imagine is the answer? If I offer as potential answers 400, 4,600, 21,000 and 46,000, I don't think you'd be surprised to hear that in 1998, the answer for depression was 46,000 scientific journal papers, while the answer for happiness was 400. Crazy, right? That, in a nutshell, is the answer to the question, why do we need positive psychology? If I will go outside and randomly ask 100 people to make a list of the top 3 things that are most important in their lives, at least 90% of those people would have the answer happiness somewhere in their top 3. And if that's true, then how could it be that mainstream psychology offered us zero insights and knowledge to do with this experience of happiness that is so important to us? It sometimes drives me crazy that gap between what we're interested with as human beings and the actual research we conduct in psychology. Certain aspects of life have been neglected by the science of psychology. And those neglected topics are some of the most beautiful aspects of being human. Let me give you one example that I think is simply mind-blowing. The topic of passion. Now, for me, passion is an important ingredient in my psychological well-being, right? Passion to my work, passion to my family, passion to my friends, passion to my hobbies. It makes a huge difference. I'm sure you realize when you're passionate in life how meaningful it is. And you could also feel when someone lives the kind of life that is filled with passion compared with someone who's just kind of going through the motions. My passion fills me with zest, it fills me with enthusiasm, making it an important dimension of my mental health. And yet, within mainstream psychology, passion was only researched and offered as part of romantic love, romantic relationships. Whether or not we are passionate towards our romantic partner, that's it. That's all we know about this meaningful psychological experience. And then positive psychology arrived, researching this topic, offering us important insights to do with passion. And that's super important. People frequently ask me, ITAI, why did you become a positive psychologist? And I ask them, what are the most important things in your life? They offer answers such as love, being happy, feeling that my life is meaningful. And I tell them, well, all those things you just mentioned, those are the heart and soul of positive psychology. Those are the topics that we research and practice in positive psychology, which is the reason that I love positive psychology so much, because it is relevant to people's real life, to their hopes, their dreams. The question that guided the thinking of most applied psychologists, the clinical psychologists, the counseling, the educational psychologists during the 20th century was very simple. The question was, what is wrong with people? Almost the entire field of psychology was dedicated to finding out what's wrong with us so that we could fix it. Right? The intention was obviously good, but it made us fixated with our issues, with our troubles. Psychologists treated our difficulties within a theoretical framework of repairing something that is damaged. Our damaged habits, our damaged drives, our damaged childhoods, our damaged brains. That was the focal point of psychology. Now, as we progress into the 21st century, we're asking another question, a new question. We're asking, what is right about people? And this question is at the heart of positive psychology, which is the scientific approach to uncovering people's strengths and promoting their positive functioning. Just to clarify, positive psychology is not denying or avoiding our difficulties and our pain. It simply invites psychology to explore, in addition to mental illnesses, the things that make human beings beautiful. It's important to say, just to offer some historical context, that positive psychology did not invent the wheel. Many of the topics that are at the heart of positive psychology were discussed in earlier waves of psychology. The best examples come from humanistic psychology. If you read the work of Rogers or Maslow or Frankl, you will find many positive psychology themes. Self-actualization and meaning and authenticity and happiness, they were all discussed as part of humanistic psychology. In fact, and this is really interesting, the term positive psychology was first coined by Maslow in his 1954 book, Motivation and Personality. Maslow did not like how psychology concerned itself mostly with disorder and dysfunction, arguing that we need a more accurate understanding of human potential. That's when he offered the term positive psychology. However, there is a significant difference between humanistic psychology and positive psychology, and it's the focus of positive psychology on high-quality, rigorous scientific research on which it bases all of its theories and models and interventions. And it makes a huge difference, and it makes positive psychology accepted within mainstream psychology. Do you remember how I started with the fact that in 1998 we had 400 research articles on happiness? Well, in 2020, the archives of research findings on happiness is showing more than 14,000 publications in the bibliography of happiness. We jumped from 400 to more than 14,000 in just over 20 years. And that's a result of the fact that positive psychology was created. And an interesting insight here is that most of those new happiness studies were conducted outside of positive psychology. Within educational and sports and counseling and cognitive psychology, that's where most of those studies were done. Which means that positive psychology created legitimacy of topics that used to be out of bounds, right, rejected, considered to be kind of non-scientific or simply not interesting, and are now becoming more and more popular. Topics such as happiness, meaning, savoring, gratitude, passion, and hope were highlighted and celebrated by positive psychology. In other words, positive psychology has changed our scientific focal point within psychology. Friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. I invite you to subscribe to my channel and watch my other positive psychology, mental health, mindfulness videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.